If you thought May was already a loaded month on the Switch thanks to Tears of the Kingdom, there may well be a potential sleeper hit here as well. That is a Toilet Shooting Star, a racing game that takes potty humour to a whole new level. Get ready to ride a toilet like never before and aim for that finish line. The burning question remains though, should you be flushed with excitement, or is Toilet Shooting Stars just a load of, well, you know what. Well, my name's Alex, and this is SwitchCorner. Let's get started. Let's start with me envisioning what the marketing meeting might have sounded like when it came to selling this idea. I imagine it would sound something like this. So in this toilet-themed kart racing extravaganza, you'll find yourself perched on a porcelain throne, gripping the handlebars of your trusty racer. The controls are as straightforward as they come. Accelerate to leave your rivals in your skid marks, and keep an eye on your rear for any sneaky opponents. Also, don't forget to unleash the fury of toilet paper projectiles to wipe out the competition. But that is not all. Prepare for a barrage of hilariously themed weapons that will leave you flushed with excitement. Launch massive plungers to destroy your rivals' hopes of victory. Deploy wirefronts to cloud their vision, because who doesn't love a bit of cheeky humour? And be wary of mysterious puddles on the track, although I would advise against asking too many questions about their origin. Marketing pitch over. What I can say is there's one big factor here missing for many, and that is the game's not been translated, and figuring out what the hell is going on is going to be quite a bit more complex than you may initially expect. Upon launching the game, I found myself in a seemingly straightforward kart racing experience with a sprinkle of pickups and track obstacles. Little did I know that this was just the tip of the iceberg, or should I say the toilet bowl. As I cruised along, collisions with obstacles proved to be oddly uneventful, leaving me feeling unsure. Things though took a sudden turn when, in the middle of lap 2, my trusty porcelain throne decided to go supernova. It launched me on an unexpected trip to outer space. No respawn on the track either, just an abrupt game over. Undeterred, I gave it another go, only to encounter that same explosive outcome on my third attempt, though I did notice a sneaky looking pressure meter lurking at the bottom of the screen. Turns out relieving of pressure was the key to avoiding an interstellar catastrophe. Now, how does one relieve such pressure, you may ask? Well, by giving it a boost, and I'm going to guess here that is some sort of toilet flush, because I mean, of course that would be a missed opportunity if that wasn't the case. That is right though, here boosting isn't optional, it is a must to avoid the imminent bathroom blast-off. With race 1 in the bag then, it's really quite easy to identify that this game is largely somewhat, I guess, falling to pieces already. My throne is occasionally drifting to the left for no apparent reason. The enemy AI has no idea what is going on, and quite honestly, everyone is, for the most part, faster than me, and I have absolutely no idea why. Initially, the game's navigation on booting it up seemed as straightforward as finding the porcelain throne in a bathroom. It was basically a single button, and then alongside that there was some information about my trusty vehicle and my character, some of the schematics. Obviously I couldn't read any of it, it was all in Japanese. However though, when I exited that first race, things just took an unexpected turn here. I am not being overly dramatic here, but there was a huge amount of menus. So far, I am counting 12, that's main mission, so story mode, 4 dedicated to cosmetics, 1 appears to be a store to upgrade our toilet, then there's going to be time trials as well, and also there was one that caught my attention like a shiny toilet seat. I clicked in and it featured people busting some moves in front of a toilet, and I couldn't help but be intrigued. I wondered if it was some sort of dance-off minigame, but my excitement was quickly flushed away when I discovered that it was simply a menu for purchasing loot crates using in-game currency, or shall I say toilet crates. There's also like 5 numbers across the top of the screen, so I presume there's a selection here of different in-game currencies and what I presume to be scores. I am going to say here, what I've seen is not a particularly good game. It actually runs though quite nicely on the Switch, but the vehicles they control are like tanks. Obstacles seem to do little to nothing, and you get so many weapons, it's easy to take everyone out immediately. Also as well, the AI just struggles to get out of a bad situation. Most of the time, I did notice they were driving into walls, going in circles, even going the wrong way. Also, I'm not seeing it so far, they may be in here, but this would be a prime example of a game that would really benefit from some simple mini games, because let's face it as well, that kind of potty humour is going to be fan pleasing, and there could be some really kind of entertaining ideas spun off from it. What doesn't help matters here though is the lack of translation. This is a game that's relying on its sense of humour, and here We're really not getting the majority of that. We're kind of getting the visual and the slapstick, but none of the written humor, which seems to be adding a lot of flavor, or at least that's going to be the case for those of you in the West like me that cannot speak Japanese, because again, no translation. It's clearly trying though as well. Each race greets you with text, and I did a basic translation. That sort of system is always going to be far from perfect, but I could get the idea. It seems we are becoming a popular contestant in the toilet seat racing world, and this lovely chap on screen is the president of the league, and he seems to be on our side. You know, a bad game can quickly go from janky to quirky just with the right narrative, so maybe if we do ever get an English patch, we will be able to have some fun with this release. From a gameplay perspective though, to close this section out, that's all I can judge it on, and it is far from great. The controls are weak, firing and aiming is fine, but the weapon selection is limited, as I've already kind of mentioned. AI is weak, we can jump, but I have absolutely no idea why. It just kind of boosts us off the seat, but not the toilet off the ground. And then these toilets barely turn when you gain any sort of speed, and half of these tracks, they've had near constant U-turns that I just can't navigate. Even using the brakes in these moments seems to do little to nothing. What has sort of worked for me though are the visuals. It's far from amazing, let's face it, but given the theme, I think it's over the top, it's vivid, there's some fun imagery in here. I just unlocked a dancing pug from the store, which has honestly been a highlight of the experience this far. And I also got a fancy bronze toilet, but I have no idea why. You'll see it in the video. I presume it's maybe part of the story bits. I may have completed a challenge. Naturally, the game can be extremely glitchy as well, but it's playing into the limited charm that I'm seeing. And yeah, there's some ragdoll effects, some fun enemies to take on, and I particularly like the blasting out into space animation. It is again very basic, but it definitely kind of gives you a certain effect. Music I also like in a weird way. It sounds like it was recorded in an extremely budget manner. It just kind of sounds low quality B-movie, but that's kind of the effect they're probably going for, or at least that's what they could afford, and somehow that's ended up paying off for them. It just works though for an experience like this. It's got electronic themes and rock music throughout, though I will warn it is looping pretty frequently. Additionally, the sound effects are around the level of chiptune at times, but there's a few nice character screams here, and that kind of adds a dash of personality. Overall, from a pure gameplay perspective, because that's all I have, it may surprise you to hear, but I'm gonna say with this one, hold onto your cash. There is not enough here to basically make you want to come here to figure it out for yourself. Maybe in the future it gets that English patch and that opinion from me changes, but that would still probably be, I'm gonna guess, if it was on a deep sale and you just want something ridiculous to pass the time. The reason I say that is there's just a lot of menus here. There's a ton of text as well, both in race, before and in the menus. And it does seem, honestly, they put a bit of effort into their ridiculous idea in that way. For some, no doubt that sense of humour will be for them, but we again cannot judge that here today, so we really can't factor it into the recommendation. That's Toilet Shooting Stars, and you may be wondering, why did I even cover this game? Well, I needed a little break from Tears of the Kingdom, so I figured let's give it a go. I wanted to put this video out as well, because many of you may be like me, and that is, curiosity often gets the better of you, so hopefully this today will save you some cash. So with that, hit subscribe, join us here for reviews, deals, news and lists daily, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.